The heart of our missions is that God will be glorified and that others will know the grace of God who has called us. Learn how God is using the lives of people like you and like me to expand His kingdom. This is Between Brothers.
What was your name? Where are you from?
My name is Guy Scott, and I'm from a little town in North Texas called Bowie, Texas.
The question right now is, what have you learned from the Word of God recently? Or what have you learned, or where have you been reading recently? How has God been speaking to you?
Well, I read Psalms and Proverbs and Isaiah, and I've probably read Isaiah 10 times, and I'm still trying to get through it. Because most of the New Testament they reference Isaiah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And what's really funny, you've been at a church and they'll be teaching out of a different kind of Bible, and they'll say the King James says this. And I'm thinking, well, if the King James says that, why don't you just teach out of that? But anyway, the thing that God has shown me is that He's never late.
Okay.
He's always on time. He has protected us, protected our life so many different times and so many different ways. Normally, now we were coming home from Oklahoma, and normally I drive in the left-hand lane because it's smoother. The trucks have wore out the right-hand lane. This is a divided highway, and it's probably 100 yards divided, going north and south. And so I just was driving along, and I decided, well, I'll get over in the right-hand lane. And we came up over a hill, and the guy passed me going north in that lane about 70 miles an hour. He wasn't even over on the right side of the street.
Okay.
On the highway.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did he even get over there?
Well, evidently he must have left someplace and just made a left-hand turn.
Wow.
And headed that way. And so I kept watching in my mirror to see if I saw any kind of explosion over the next hill, but behind me.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
that woke us both up real well. Yeah. So.
So you've seen the Lord do things that have you at the right time at the right place, and He is never late.
Well, and not only that, he anything that happens, he just makes a way for us to get it fixed, get it solved, go on down the road, get to where we need to go. Because a lot of times there'll be a lot of bumps in the road, or a lot of obstacles trying to keep us from going to where we're going to go to serve, and He just works them out. So it's a pretty cool.
So you just see His faithfulness in your life, in sustaining you, taking care of you.
Oh, many times. Forward. Yeah.
All right.
Many times.
How have you seen Him teach you or encourage you, maybe in the same way, about never being late, never being on time, through His Word? You said you read Psalms and Proverbs and Isaiah. Is there anything from His Word that has encouraged you to keep on trusting Him and to keep on moving forward?
Well, there was a time. Well, I'm in CMA, Christian Motorcycle Association.
Okay.
And so along the way, God has taught me to be able to share with other people. And so that was kind of a scary thing at first. So I started going with people that were bold, that could do that. Okay. And it didn't take long until I realized that that's what I wanted to do. And so I started doing that. And I try to encourage the guys that are here to speak up. I mean, even if it's just to your waitress that waits on you at a restaurant, or somebody you see that maybe they got a big frown on their face and they look like they're just down in the dumps. just go up to them and say, "Can I pray for you? You look sad, or you look stressed." And a lot of times they are.
Sometimes, if someone challenges us in our faith, we are ready to defend it. But we need to be just as bold to share with the people that are around us, who are, that we just meet in day-to-day life as the Lord allows us to, right?
I've had, I do what's called a station ministry. I ride my bike over to Gainesville, Texas, which is right on 35, and then every motorcycle guys that come in, I go out and approach them. So this one day, I went over and I try to take some of our chapter members with us so they can just stand there and silently pray. But I was by myself and I was praying for a divine appointment. And as I turned into the station, there was about 8 or 10 guys, and they were a motorcycle club. They're 1%, 1%ers. That means they're an outlaw club, motorcycle club.
I just recently had that explained to me what that means.
This last year. And so I said, "Really, Lord? I got to talk to them?" And so I went up and parked where I normally park and got my material out. And they walked right past me and went into the restroom. And when they came out, this was a QT, came out another door and walked right over to me. And the president introduced every one of them. They all shook my hand, and then they went and sat down. And so the president and I stood there and talked for about 20 minutes. And I gave him a card, it had my name and number on it. And he asked if we ever went to certain things. And I said, if we're invited, then we'll come. And a lot of times, even an MC will do some kind of charity for a fundraiser for something. And if they ask us, then we'll come, because a lot of times they'll want us there to pray for them or start the day off in prayer. Something like that.
A verse that was shared with me recently that goes with this is 1 Peter 4:11 says, "Whoever speaks as one who speaks oracles of God." It's like, it's not because we're an authority speaking, but because we're speaking on behalf of God and His authority, we can be bold to share with anyone. What are some of your favorite verses to share with people when you get the opportunity?
Well, one of them that I like to share is in, I think it's in Proverbs. It says that man plans his course and God directs his feet. And that's happened to us a lot of times when we're planning on going someplace to work and we end up someplace else because God just guided us over there, or this project canceled and we went someplace else. That's one of my verses. The verse that I share with folks and I try to get them to read it out loud out of the Bible is John 3:16.
Right.
And when they read that verse, then I ask them, I said, "Well, what does that mean to you?" And if they give me because I ask them to read it out loud, and if they give me some kind of answer like, "Well, you just need to be good," or something like that, then I ask them to read it again out loud. And most of the time they will. And then I don't say anything. I just wait to see what they'll say after they've read it out loud twice. I'm trying to get out of the way of the Holy Spirit doing His work.
Right.
Right,
through His Word, which He promises to do.
Yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. All we have to do is just ask, so.
And it goes back to what you were originally saying, just about God's perfect timing. It's like, trust Him to work in the way He's promised to work. And
well, we've had major breakdowns in our motorhome, and by the grace of God, we had the money to get it fixed. And He supplies us. He supplies all of our needs, and it's, I mean, we're not wanting for anything, because we know that He's taking care of us.
Yeah.
He's guiding us along the way. And
this is not we won't go into the whole story of this, but I'm just curious, when did you come to know the Lord? How long have you been walking with the Lord?
I was, let's see, I don't know whether I can do the math, but I'll just do the short story. I was 9 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, I was a bus kid. I was, I went to VBS and at the church on the bus. And this particular day, we were in a little church, a little country church, which is 4 or 5 blocks away from where I lived. And we were way back at the very back row. And I don't remember whether there's any adults back there, or Sunday school teachers or what, but there's a lot of the boys out of our class was there. And the preacher was preaching, and when he got to the invitation time, I just got up and went down the front. I mean, I didn't look at anybody. I just got up and looked at him and walked right to him. And my Sunday school teacher was there, and he dealt with me. And then a week later, I got baptized.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just curious, because when you say the Lord's always taking care of us, you have years of watching that and Him proving that, right?
I guess I could say that for 70, over 70 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It's been encouraging. Thank you for sharing about that and sharing just how the Lord has worked in your life and through you. That's the premise of the podcast, is that the Lord is at work in and through each one of His children. So we all have something to share.
Yes, well, we do. And just being bold, or just approaching somebody. And I like to talk to the veterans. When I see somebody in a place that's wearing a military cap or some kind, I go over and talk to them. And then I ask them if there's something I can pray for them about, and just thank them for serving and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, Guy, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
This podcast is a part of Rio Grande Bible Ministries. If you want to learn more about the Bible College, that's in Spanish, the language school to learn Spanish, the radio station, or Bibleville, or any of the other ministries of Rio Grande, find us at riogrande.edu. That's our website, riogrande.edu. And if you want to interact with the podcast, if you want to ask questions, give us feedback, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, searching for Entre Hermanos. Make sure to add Rio Grande to your search, and we will be the first ones to show up. Thank you for listening to our podcast, Entre Hermanos, which means Between Brothers.